Hello. Today I'm interviewing Michael Cortez, who's in a band called Townsville. They're putting out an EP very shortly, so be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out this interview. As always, thanks for tuning in.
Behind the bird. Behind the bird. Behind the bird. Behind the bird.
It's a little game.
Alright.
Okay.
Games.
Okay.
Games.
A little icebreaker questions. Favorite movie?
Oh, no. This is so much pressure. There's so many. For the sake of argument, let's just go with Natural Born Killers. There we go.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, I adore that movie. It's the only Oliver Stone movie I've ever seen.
Oh,
and
nice.
I need to see more. Oh, no, that's not true. I saw Revenge or Vengeance or whatever it was called. I forgot. But it wasn't very good. But yeah, probably had the Natural Born Killers. But my honest favorite movie is all three of the Matrixes. So
Nice.
it's
Okay.
it's the difference between knowing what's good and knowing what I like. So that's that.
Favorite TV show?
Breaking Bad, hands down,
Nice.
for sure. It's just aesthetically very pleasing with really good writing and.
I think it's either you're really into it or not.
Yeah. I remember I tried to get my parents into it, and they were just like, "This is too intense for me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
I couldn't get into it.
Really? Yeah. It's definitely kind of has a niche to it, but I don't know. I'm a total sucker for that kind of thing. So,
Nice.
Favorite
book?
I think the most enjoyable book I ever read was probably Cujo from the
Okay.
Stephen King. Right now I'm reading Soul Survivor by Dean Koontz, and I like the horror thriller kind of stuff.
Little Matrix kind of.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. But I don't know. I really like Cujo, but I also really like It. I don't know. There's a bunch. I don't know. Right now I'm gonna be a part of a book club, so maybe I'll have a new favorite book pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Yeah.
Favorite song?
Where the Streets Have No Name by U2.
Whoa.
No, that's
Okay.
for sure, hands down. That's favorite band, favorite song,
Nice.
100%. I just saw them play that. They did the Joshua Tree tour. So
You went to that?
Yeah. They played the album in its entirety, and it was. I cried more than once.
Why is that your favorite song? From your choose.
It's a whole thing, but to kind of sum it up, U2 was one of the first bands that got me into music.
Oh, okay.
I got into music when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And I remember the first time I heard Where the Streets Have No Name, I was like, "Oh, this is great!" But I was like, I was like a preteen, that whole mindset of just kind of being, But then I saw my mom had this DVD of U2 playing an entire concert DVD of them playing 2005 for the Vertigo tour in Chicago, and he incorporates this sort of Africanesque chanting to Where the Streets Have No Name, and they kind of changed the arrangement a little bit. I remember when I saw that, I started bawling my eyes out just because it was, and it was this shitty DVD player and with everything, and so that song really hit home for me, and just he's singing about just having this sort of I want to run, I want to hide, I want to tear down the walls that burn me inside. It's just very wholesome and very self-unifying in a weird way, but then they also use chords I'm sucker for, and that just does this whole delay thing, and it's a whole thing. I just love that song. I think it's so minimalistically complex, and in such a weird, convoluted way that I love it. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But no other song has ever. Well, okay, plenty of songs have hit home for me, but that one was every single time I see it live. I've seen it 3 times, and every single time I'm just yes. Whenever it comes to movies or music, whenever I have something that's a favorite, I don't like listening to it or watching it a lot because I like to like kind of spread it out. That way it doesn't kind of lose its effect. Because I'm very weird. My favorite song. Yeah. Of all time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
I think it's purple. I can't tell anymore. No, because when I was a preteen, I was like, my favorite color is purple, and then like later on when I started like actually thinking for myself, I'm like, but why though? And I don't know. So probably black. I don't know. I like dark things in like not like in a weird like moody way. I don't know. It's just my eye is drawn to like the more dark aesthetic of just visuals, and so like black, purple, dark blue, dark red, whatever. I'm wearing dark clothes, It's, I don't know, for me, because everything has to be lit up for us to see, dark has a place to stand out within all like, the light shining, all the lights like during night or the sun or everything. So I just like the way dark contrasts everything else, so like black or dark purple, one of them. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah.
I like dark colors too.
Yeah. It's,
I'm black right now.
Yeah, exactly. It looks good.
Favorite place in LA?
Burbank. Probably Burbank. More specifically, like
downtown Burbank?
Yeah, like Magnolia and that strip. I really like Portos and like just all the cool shops there.
Yeah.
But like it also depends like on like the day and like what you're in the mood for, because LA is such a, you can go to Venice one day or you can go to downtown LA.
They're so different.
So different. Like in the mood I'm in right now, probably Burbank. Like but like a different Michael wants like different thing from this place. Like I don't know, like Ventura is so different. I mean, I guess Ventura's Ventura, but it's so different from like downtown LA, or downtown LA is so different from like Sun Valley or whatever, and it's just like, I don't know, it just depends. For me, it's always like, it always depends on like who's with me, and like based on where I'm gonna go. Like I have like a certain group of friends who I'd love to take to Burbank, but another group of friends like who would like this part of LA a little bit more. So I try to like adjust to my situation. But maybe when I'm by myself, I'll just say Burbank for the sake of that.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer. I love Burbank.
Yeah.
I was born in Burbank.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah. Pasadena.
Nice. Okay. Okay. How has your childhood influenced your music?
Okay. So when we lived in the States, the only two songs I would ever listen to was "Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap" by AC/DC and "Larger Than Life" by Backstreet Boys. Those are the only two songs I would consciously go and listen to. Other than that, I was not into music at all. And then we moved to Costa Rica later down the road, and I still wasn't into music, but I really, really found a love for comic books. Not like superheroes and stuff, but like Calvin and Hobbes or like Charlie Brown and Garfield, and I read all those the funnies. I had this ritual of coming home after school every day, get some banana bread, some milk, and then just lock myself in my room and pull out my big old collection of stuff and just read for hours. But then, I was probably 11, 12, 13, something like that. And we took a trip, where we live, we could drive 5 hours anywhere to get to a beach. So we drove 5 hours to get to one beach. And, it was blah, blah, blah. The trip was fun and everything. And then on the way back, I remember I was really restless that day. And so my mom gave me her iPod, and I was like, "What's an iPod?" And she's like, "This," and she's like, "Check it out." And so I put the headphones in, and I'm like, I don't know, I vividly remember thinking, what do cool people listen to? And so I go to genres, and I see the genre classic rock. I was like, oh, that sounds cool, and so I put it on, and then I was just scrolling through it, and I just hit a random artist, and it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and I played the Greatest Hits album, and the very first song that I listened to was American Girl, and that struck a chord in me so hard. And so for the rest of that trip, I was just going through, Tom Petty, U2, The Clash, The Cars, all these different artists throughout the entire thing. And I remember as soon as we got home, I was just my life was changed forever. It was a very specific day that really affected it. And so later on, I just started asking my parents more and more about music, and my mom got me into stuff like U2 and Van Halen and and all this sort of stuff. And my dad was like really into like AC/DC and Kiss and like just like a bunch of different stuff. And they both at the time co-owned a nightclub. My dad still owns it, but and so like they were like into really electronic music, and I didn't really get that until like way later down the road.
Yeah.
But it was a very specific day in which I got into music, like, and then from then on, it was really nice because I had like a clean slate to kind of like put my whatever my taste was, and then like I just went on. So I started liking a little bit of everything, and I went through the whole like Metallica phase there for a little while, and then I like started getting into jazz a lot more, and then like I was always into rock and roll and like some pop here and there, but like it was always very like I like to like I kind of like just choose from the weird parts of everything, But yeah, so I guess to like sum up the question. It was I was never really into music in my childhood. It was like more my preteens when it started like really becoming a part of my life. And then like my best friend at the time and I, like, we both picked up the guitar together, and like we would always compete, and he was always better than me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I gave up guitar for a little while, and that was a whole thing in itself. But then I don't know, I just kept at it, and now I am a musician, which is nice, So it was a weird time, just like changing from wanting. I remember like when I was little, I wanted to be a comic book artist, just because that's all I knew. That was my world.
Yeah.
And then now I want to be a musician. And
you touched on this a little bit, but who are your musical inspirations?
So last year, or maybe 2 years ago, whenever 2015 was, that summer, I started finally writing songs that I legitimately really liked. Mm-hmm. And I was going through a whole thing, and so I was listening to a lot of Damien Rice, like just hours and hours of just like sad, weepy, oh woe is me, acoustic.
We all go through.
Yeah, exactly. And so for the longest time, I really, really loved writing weird, but like at the same time, very melodic kind of acoustic music, and like that like kind of needed like strings or something to like kind of like boost it up to like its potential, I guess. And I wrote like songs here and there, and then like some stuff happened which like finally gave me reasons to write songs, and I was just like, oh, okay. And I started getting in this groove, and I just started pumping them out, and it was a weird thing. I don't play those songs anymore because I kind of switched from acoustic. Now I'm in a band, and I love that music right now. It's like more accessible, it's more fun. We're doing a show in a few hours, so that'll be fun. And so Damien Rice was my absolute biggest influence, but I also, for the longest time, they were my favorite band. Now they're my second, next to U2, but I really like Switchfoot a lot, and so I really liked the kind of like major chords, kind of like adding like it was less about kind of like making things accessible and more paying attention to the small nuances of what the songs do. And that's always like what kind of like attracted me to the kind of music that I like. It's more choices than actual like a listening appeal. I'm very into Ben Folds. I'm very into Switchfoot. I'm very into like a bunch of like like Radiohead and like more like people that play with sounds as opposed to like, so that like when I recently started like building a pedal board and like making my guitar sound the way I wanted to, and so I consciously kind of like picked very specific pedals in order to kind of cater to me being able to play with the sounds as opposed to me being able to write songs. Mm-hmm. And that in turn kind of goes hand in hand with the way I like to songwrite. So I always look up to people like The Edge or Tom York or just people who really like to sound design, even though I can't sound design for shit. And it's like it's whatever. But I like to play, and I think playing is super, super fun. Yeah. So at first Damien Rice, and then later on, like for my most recent stuff, maybe like U2 and Switchfoot and Young the Giant's like a little sprinkled in there, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's who gets me. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite song you have covered or done?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, my band and I have this whole thing where we all get to choose a cover for every show that we do, so we take turns. And my favorite cover I've ever done with my band is hands down "Dreams" by the Cranberries. That was our bassist choice. And well, I suggested at first when we were like arguing about covers, but they're like, okay, let's just do this. So we like flipped the coin and or rolled the dice or whatever, and like whoever like got highest pick, and he was first. And so we did "Dreams," and I loved it. But my favorite cover to play acoustically is "No Such Thing" by John Mayer, and that's like always like so much. It's so much fun to play, and I always feel so good singing it. But like other than that, I really like playing "High and Dry" by Radiohead. I really like playing "Sweet Pea" by Emma Lee, and just whenever I'm feeling like it, Damien Rice, any Damien Rice song. I love like like just the tiny like soft, intimate, quiet stuff. It's just that's not very like appealing. It's like it's appealing to like a very certain mood. So I don't do that a lot.
Soothing.
Yeah. In a way, it's soothing to like hear like the words being spoken to someone, that they're making someone's feelings tangible through words, and that communication is very important, and I think Damien Rice hits that spot on. But yeah, definitely either "No Such Thing" or "High and Dry," and then with the band "Dreams." That's just so much fun. They do such a good job with it. But yeah.
What's the future like for your band, Townsville?
Townsville. Okay. That is a good question, but I'm really hoping for the best with these guys. I've never been in a project that I was so excited about. Right now, we're recording our first EP. It's called Lures, and it's a 3-song EP. And we're actually going to be doing guitars for that in a couple days or something like that. And hopefully it should be out by like maybe beginning of July or something like that. But we've been getting some gigs here and there, and like just kind of like warming up for when we actually finally release our EP, and we kind of all agreed that once the EP is out, that's when we're gonna kind of start being hungry to like promote as much as we can and everything. Because right now with like it's a 3-piece band, and the other 2 guys work at like in or around UCLA, so like their hours are very like busy during like school time and everything. So like once the EP is out, the timing's gonna work out to where like we can like kind of buckle down and like because they'll have more time and
Summer.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've talked about it, and we don't know where it's going, but we're all very enthusiastic about it, and we haven't put any music out yet, but like the people who have come to our show seem to like the music, and so we're kind of banking on, once the EP is released, people liking us, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I believe in the songs. They've all been. It's such good energy with these guys. Like, and I'm hoping that the listeners are feeling what we're feeling, because it's so hard as an artist to like kind of gauge how another person's feeling. Like we're there, like kind of like doing the play. Like that was like that was a really good set, or like legitimately that was a really good set. It's hard, and so I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, but at the same time trying to be smart with it. We haven't put any music out on purpose, because we want to make sure that the first thing that people hear is like a very taken care of, good quality recording, and we picked 3 songs that we think people can maybe latch onto. I don't know, but so right now the next few months is going to be very crucial to defining what our future is like, and so I don't know is the short answer.
What's the process like on making that EP and like producing it and writing the songs?
Well, writing the songs, I've written most of the songs, and I bring it to the guys, and they add their stuff to it. Recently, we've been like writing together a little bit more, but none of that has been really finished yet. But usually I'll like write something, and then like they'll say, "Oh, what if we do this?" And I'm like, "Yes, yeah," or "Absolutely not." But like we all talk about it, and we all try things out. We do our best, and the guys are really good at doing this, at kind of sharing, the weight in each other's opinions. Like they're phenomenal musicians. Like I can't stress that enough. And But yeah, so that's usually what it's like. And then recording has been, it's been a little like slower than we wanted it to be, but it's because like the producer really wants to take care of the songs, you know. So like there's like a couple things that we're like trying out in the studio before like we like solidify, okay, this is the final take or whatever.
Yeah.
And so far it's just been like drums and bass, and I did guitars to one of the songs, but it's usually like a session where like one of the people will come in and like, you know, let everyone know how it went, and then another person will come in. And that's pretty much just the gist of it, honestly, because we go through the song so much that it's not really like we have to write during the process. It's always just like lay down the track, good to go, you know. So it's been like pretty smooth sailing. We're just trying to like it is nice, but you know, that doesn't mean that we're not like willing to like play in the studio, which is why it's taking taking a while, you know, because we're just so excited that we want to make sure that the final thing is.
When did you start?
We started, I want to say around the end of April, maybe the middle of April or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, no. Maybe end of March. I don't remember, honestly.
Around there.
Yeah. I think it was the end of March. Yeah, so it's been like what, like maybe a month and a half or something like that.
What day is it?
Yeah, today is May 28th. Yeah, so almost 2 months. Yeah. About 2 months.
It's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all. We're just really excited, and like it was funny because we started becoming a band in December, so we've been like rapid. Like none of us have been as at least from what they've told me, none of us have been as enthusiastic about a project as Townsville.
Yeah.
And so it's been like ever since December. We just kind of rapid fire, like from there, like we're already recording, like, and hopefully we didn't jump the gun with the songs, but I like the songs a lot. And
what's the sound like on the songs?
Oh boy, I like saying that we're like Young the Giant meets Young the Giant with like a flavor of Radiohead. We're not nearly as good as either of them. Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for like I've already touched on this before, but I really like atmospheric and like sounds, this weird stuff like that. So I try to write pop songs, like, you know, very Young the Giant-y, like Cough Syrup, like with like latchable hooks and stuff like that. But then adding like an element of like weirdness to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I always like kind of like hold back and never try to do too much, but like we've organically been incorporating more of that like, as each song comes, and so as long as it keeps like staying on this natural thing, I'll stick with Young the Giant meets Radiohead. You know, but yeah, that's pretty much our sound, I guess, but you'll have to listen to Lures to find out.
Oh.
So yeah.
What's your favorite song off those three?
Off the True Love. There's this song called True Love. It was the second song I ever showed these guys, and they've also been like, this is our favorite song. It's like it was a song. It's a song I wrote about unrequited love, but not so much unrequited love, more so than it is kind of dealing with your own messed up thoughts that you have while experiencing unrequited love, because it can be very self-damaging if you don't get that validation from the person that you put so much power to, and so in so many words the lyrics kind of sum up what true love is, and it always feels so good playing it with the guys. Like I remember when I first wrote it, it was just like this acoustic little thing. But then it's like I showed it to the guys. I showed it to them on my acoustic guitar because I was like, guys, I wrote this to be on electric, but I'm going to play an acoustic for you so you kind of get what the song sounds like. And I played it for them, and they got so excited, and like the song kept evolving. And that's kind of the song that's our Cough Syrup, I think. There's the other song, Lures, that a lot of people have been like, this is a great song, you know, but like, so I'm happy about that. Lures is a completely different song though, but True Love is definitely the kind of magnum opus, if you will, of Townsville. I mean, hopefully we don't peak there, but it's my favorite song that we've written. Although we are writing one right now that I'm super excited for, but I don't think it's going to take True Love's place. It's my personal favorite, but Yeah, so look out for True Love.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's all my questions, but do you have anything to add?
Just when the EP does come out and you kind of hear these songs, I always like to stress that the listeners, what the listener receives when consuming art is just as important, if not maybe a little more sometimes, than what the artist is telling. So when you listen to the songs, and that's right, that's correct, that is what you receive, and because art is about communication, and what you receive is what is perceived. I mean, yeah. So what I want Townsville to be about is, I mean, of course, I love being on stage and performing for people, and and it's the greatest experience. I'm super excited to go on stage again in a few hours and just kind of do my thing. But if anything that we have to say is important to you, then that means everything to us. And if I can just self plug for a second, we have Instagram at Townsville Band or Facebook Townsville Band, and we have a couple shows in June coming up and one in July so far, but hopefully we'll be adding more. And look out for Lures by Townsville. Yeah. Yeah, there's the plug.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
BehindtheBirk.
Yes.